In recent years, the term perimenopause has started to gain traction in more mainstream conversations between girlfriends, across social media, just in everyday life. That word is popping up more and more, which has women waking up to the reality that it's not just menopause that brings hormonal changes. It's perimenopause that arrives first. My next guest believes many women, though, are still in the dark when it comes to understanding the symptoms and the treatment options. Her goal is to help you feel empowered through added knowledge and support. Therapist Kristin Hodson is here to enlighten us. Great to see you, sister.
Thanks for having me.
So your connection to this topic, I mean, professionally speaking, is that you're seeing women show up in your office, right, thinking that there's a mental or emotional issue.
Yes.
They feel crazy.
They feel crazy.
Simply stated. And you're here to say it might not just be in your head.
No, because so when I was growing up, menopause was way down the road.
Sure.
You're like, oh, that's something I'll deal with in my 50s.
Sure.
I didn't hear anything about this transitional space. So yes, a lot of women come in and they're like, what is wrong with me? I'm fighting a lot more with my kids. I'm fighting a lot more with my husband. I don't feel like myself. And it's so nice to introduce of like, you could be going through the transitional phase of perimenopause.
Yeah.
And then we get to do some education.
I haven't lived the decades, nor have you, or the generations, but from a media perspective, it's interesting to look back, as I have done, and track that about every 20 years, the menopause conversation comes up. And everyone, in the industry, people like to say no one's talking about it. That just means it hasn't affected you yet.
Exactly.
Like, women are talking about everything, so I wish we'd stop saying that in media. But every 20 years, we seem to talk about menopause. Perimenopause, though, this is new, kind of menopause's little sister. We're just now speaking about it.
Yeah, because I think people are starting to realize, like, I'm not feeling like myself a lot earlier, and turns out all of my friends, we're all not feeling great either. So it shows up in your 30s and 40s, which is a surprise to a lot of people.
Oh, it's a gut punch.
You could still be having babies and be going through perimenopause, which that's the spoiler
Tell me
alert.
more about that, Kristin. Tell me more. Yeah, exactly. It becomes this reality check, right? This age reality check that you might not maybe feeling ready to join the menopause club.
That's right.
But it is starting that early, 30s and 40s.
Yes, and 100% of women will go through this transition. 50% of the population will go through this, and it's 10 to 15 years of your life, which is a big chunk as you're making that transition. It's like adult puberty.
Yeah.
So navigating that thoughtfully is worthwhile.
It's like adult puberty. That's funny, not funny.
Yeah.
That's funny, not funny. So we've identified the age, which I think that alone is hugely important in that you can start watching for signs and symptoms. What are we watching for?
Okay, so the most common one you're going to hear people talk about, it's in the media, are hot flashes. But a lot of women also don't experience hot flashes, and there's over 30 different symptoms. So we're dealing with mood swings. You can have increased anxiety, increased depression, fatigue, sleep issues. You can have the hot flashes, but it's really how is this impacting your body with your hormonal makeup that we really want to take into consideration.
So some women can, bless you, unicorns, get through this and maybe not have it impact their life as dramatically, but for those struggling, what's your message to her?
That you are not broken, that you are going through a transitional stage. It is not forever, but that you also don't have to gut your way through it, that there are resources and support. And I think, honestly, just the conversations that are being had are helping a lot of women.
Medically, where do you recommend to your patients and to the women listening, where should we start?
That can also be tricky. One of the places I really love to send women is the North American Menopause Society, because these are providers who have gotten additional education around perimenopause and menopause. So in med school, there's not a huge emphasis on this stage of life. So these providers have gone above and beyond. You also have a lot of natural providers, you have mental health therapists, you have a lot of providers that are now specializing in this. And sometimes it's about finding your team based on your symptoms. What do I need? Who are the people in my corner that will believe me, that will take my symptoms seriously, and can help me troubleshoot and problem solve what I need?
And that makes sense, because as you described, that long list of symptoms can hit different women differently, or not at all. So finding your team or your people that can suit your body's needs and your emotional needs too. Hormone testing often enters the chat when we talk about menopause or perimenopause. Do you think that's for everyone?
I don't, and I don't think it's necessary. It can be. Again, I don't want to step out of my scope with the medical world, but no, oftentimes hormone testing can be a snapshot. Hormones can fluctuate even like every hour. So you're getting this snapshot, but it's really you in context and all these other symptoms that can help providers be like, oh yeah, you're fully in transition. Like things are changing with your body. You're having that drop in estrogen. How is that impacting you?
So that becomes a map per se for the given moment. And as you talk about that team, you do believe strongly that every woman deserves the right support.
1000%, because what I see as a healthcare provider, you used the word crazy at the beginning of the segment. Just
Tongue in cheek, I didn't mean to throw that out.
Yeah, but I think
anecdotally.
that's a word that I think people relate with.
Sure.
That they're just like, I don't know what this is. And so having a provider that takes you serious, that believes you and is curious. I find a lot of providers that are curious, that alone is really helpful. When you come to these quick conclusions like, oh, you're just going through menopause, good luck, hang out for the next 15 years, that's not as helpful as someone that is wanting to really understand what's going on for you.
And as we talk about within your scope, the emotional transitions that happen, this is a big time of life. I mean, we're seeing so many soon-to-be empty nesters out loud expressing how hard this transition is. And I've wondered why that is. I've wondered, it's not that previous generations loved their children less per se, but now we have a platform, I think, and permission to feel like we can express our emotions more openly. So you're hearing a lot of women describe just how difficult emotionally this is. And that can factor into all of the symptoms you described too. So it's a layered experience.
It's very layered, and you are constantly you're establishing a new identity again. Like, who am I at this stage? What does it look like? How do I spend my time? What do my friendships look like? What do my relationships look like? So it is very layered.
And I guess my point in bringing that up is let's at least make sure our body is as centered as it can be.
Absolutely.
Because the rest is going to happen, and that's going to be hard enough, right? So thank you for bringing light and attention into this topic and this space. And I think, again, as you said, if women just know they're not alone, they're not crazy, there are resources and solutions out there to help us get through this grown-up puberty. I'll think of you now every time I think of that. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you. Where can we get more advice from you, sister?
You can find us at the Healing Group on Instagram or at Kristin Hodson on Instagram as well.
You're doing good work. We appreciate your voice.
Thank you.